it's Spence, the evil genius.
Oh yeah. So I'm a little snowblind today, so I'm putting on my Joe Sugarman blue blocker sunglasses. Today I've got a really busy desktop, and I'm going to share with you immediately, just for fun, because I want to share with you some of the progress on a couple of things, and also conceptually what's been going on in the real world. First of all, I have a couple things to start with. Yesterday, I introduced, and to great fanfare, I had several calls with you guys in my community as well as new prospects about the new autonomous agentic capability. In the meantime, I've read that OpenClaw and Molt Book and all this stuff, they haven't died, but they just sort of, they had their 5 seconds of fame, and then all of a sudden people are realizing like these agents are just kind of talking about trash. But I want to say, that's not the important part. The important part is that autonomous creation of stuff is the way that this is going to be, right? And so I'm going to go back here for a second. Just as an introduction, the way I've decided to approach this is I've already got the really nicely styled interface that's mobile friendly for all of the components that I offer. I am currently building out full-featured solutions for many businesses in the legal business, in the medical business, in the RV industry, and otherwise. And because this interface is very extensible, it seems like everything I build could work within it. So number one, I think we're finally drilling down to what the interface is going to be. And you've seen this before because I have it right here. This is I'm going to put it into emulator mode. This is the mobile interface that seems to work really, really, really well. I'm going to use this emulator here, even though it breaks the way that it works. Here on the right side, I'm going to zoom up a bit. Oops, I always do that. Here on the right side, if I zoom up a bit, you can kind of see what this looks like in a phone. And what the metaphor I like is we've got the left-hand flyout that also has the capability of getting to your content and your stuff. It has the add to your desktop if you're on a mobile in the real world, as well as the ability to switch profiles. On the bottom, we've got several action buttons. This is your My Stuff, starting with your code blocks, your preview of code blocks, your media library, the content blocks that have been created, skills, and of course, most importantly, perhaps the contacts themselves, which when this is actually in a real iPhone, that doesn't get cut off. But this is really super fast and fun. I found this very effective. At the same time, when you click off of it and go back, we've got the ability to switch models. So you can go to different assistants for the various tasks you're doing. You've got the all-on microphone, which I love because this saves, even on desktop, from somebody having to install whisper type or something. So for example, hey, it's Spence and I'm talking without whisper type. All I got to do is keep talking. And then when I'm done, hit the enter button. Okay. So literally that's all there is to it. It fills in just like you had whisper typing, but it's built into the product itself, which I think is super fun because it also eliminates any confusion when you're on mobile about which tool to use. And then finally, we've got hit the return and enter. Each of the things that are displayed here are fully enabled to do other actions. So for example, here in a previous whatever I was doing some social stuff. Let's go to another chat. Hold on. I think I was looking at this one. I was doing some ramen research, and I talked about this in yesterday's show. My friend Art Kessler and I, he doesn't really live at this address. I was able to look up stuff and send it to Art, right? Or directions. Give me the best ramen noodle place in Bucktown of Chicago, including the address and a link to their website. Now, I know that sounds stupid to ask for those things, but imagine that you want to do everything from helping yourself while you're driving, to showing something to a friend, to taking a picture, to sharing, to dealing with clients, to writing emails, to doing whatever. Everything that I do here is now in one spot. And so what's awesome about that, here's ramen wasabi. This doesn't necessarily give the location as far as the map. I could ask for that. But if I just copy this, having this ability, and then I can immediately put this in my basket and send this to Art, right? Via a text or an email. That right there is 99% of what I do. And the best part about it is I can also save this as a block. Best ramen in Chicago. And that in of itself, this metaphor is great. Now, why am I telling you all this stuff again? Well, if we go over to Minute Launch Claw, I've been having great success today with testing it and doing things, but also refactoring. The things that I've been testing and doing, which have worked out really amazing, is that I have had, you can see all these experiments I've done today. Do research on Spencer Foreman, his activities and achievements, make something in HTML that's beautiful, and so on and so forth. Now, what's neat about that is that when we create the stuff, it's right now in this format, but it's going to be put into the same layout, the same metaphor of the mobile device. And the only difference is that this is going to be for autonomous tasks that happen without you watching them, whether you're sleeping or driving or working or whatever. And when this, let's say, here's the task of restyling Spencer Foreman research page. This can be given in the form of the preview or the code, or even deploy it to a page, right? If I want to deploy it to a post or a page or a custom post type, I can put it in full canvas, no header mode, set it to published, and it'll deploy it. That's awesome because it also will preview it for me here. But if I want, I can open it up and go to it on the page. Now, this obviously isn't styled for anything, but the point was it has the ability to do work. It did the research about me. It made an interface, listed out a bunch of links, did all these things that, let's say, Spencer Foreman research brought to the table. When I take this research and these capacities and I put it into this interface, it's just going to be another one of these web menus, right? It's going to be, hey, listen, Fernando, while I'm sleeping, I need you to do all this stuff. Now, just to give you an example of how hard my team has been working today, on the left, I've got my video client. We're building a whole suite of client plugins and operations for running a video deposition business. The things that I've got here, let me log back into this. We've got the deposition editor, the deposition scheduler. We've got the client database tools. All of these things are being built by this dude over here who is running in a semi-autonomous way with one or more agents. Below him is the Minute Launch plugin manager guy who is actually creating the claw. He's coding while I'm working. You can see here, if I scroll down, he's just going to town. He actually rebuilt the whole plugin. I'm going to test that in a second. On my desk below here, I've got a client, Kathleen Kuhn's project working. I have 4 or 5 other guys that are all working on my desktop presently to create work product. Imagine that you can do all of that stuff here, right? And then with the new interface, you can do it from your phone. That's just the basic update. I want to also talk about something I touched on Friday's office hours, which is I am going to be integrating, as soon as I finish with a couple of these things, what I saw from Blaze, which was the brand kit, which I absolutely loved. The idea that I'm going to have something that is not going to steal any of their work product. It's just going to be inspired by. You'll be able to give your dude a website or a page or other materials, just like they do, that allows him to create both a style kit, brand voice, as well as the business overview and positioning. One of the things that I also did, which I thought was fascinating, was I actually was able to use the dude to do a competitive analysis. This is something that you can easily do if you are inside of Claude desktop right now, or if you're inside of Claude. If I go into Claude, let's see if it's in there. I did it on WP Fusion just for fun because I'm part of that business a bit. And let's see if it came in. Hold on. Here. So what happened yesterday was I was using the very tool, including a special prompt that I'll build into the dude that does competitive analysis on any business, including one's own. Now, fortunately, WP Fusion is run very open by Jack, so a lot of the information is out there. But the goal of this was, what if you're trying to figure out, where does my brand fit? Where does my product work? Where is it? Like, all this stuff exist for the dudes to do. I just have to make it into something that's a pre-made feature or button. So coming soon to a WP launch kit to you, or actually in this case, a minute launch to you, would be the brand kit, competitive intelligence report. We've already got the minute launch social. The fourth one was something that actually John Lawler had asked of me, which is something that I do myself. I'm going to share something I normally don't share, but here's my Slack. Slack, I pay $7-8 a month, I think, for myself. I used to run it with other people on it. What I do is if I find something interesting on my iPhone, I send it or share it to this one folder called Discoveries. Now, this is really crazy because that's the only thing I basically use Slack for, other than I have a few business associates like Jack or whomever that I will communicate with. I used to have a bunch of team members that use Slack, but I think this is a perfect example of something that instead of using Slack, I'm just going to be basically building something that allows you to go to any content on the internet and share it to your minute launch site instantly, so that you'll have your own custom index of interesting discoveries. And this is a takeaway of something I built early days of minute launch for Anne Stevenson. I don't use at the moment, but it was used by her for collecting research data to develop and build out her newsletter. I feel like that's a universal appealing, it's a function with universal appeal. All right. Those are my updates for right now. Interesting stuff in the news besides that, I would probably say, no, I don't, I'll come back to you guys. I've just been doing something else, which is sort of early days, for job research. And I don't mean job in the traditional sense, but one of the things that I found is that if you were to go to LinkedIn or any of the job boards, and I'm not the kind of guy to be hired, to be honest with you. Nobody wants to hire me because I'm too independent. They will pay me as an advisor or a consultant. But nevertheless, if you go to the job things, one of the trends that I'm seeing, and that's why I looked into it, is if you search for AI, and like a vertical, like legal, right? So I have a legal background, AI. If I search for this, there's a shit ton of results, 250 jobs, everything from legal trainers to, in-house stuff. You will find the same thing if you associate AI accounting, okay, AI bookkeeping, AI babysitting. There seems to be a wealth of things that are available, both contract and otherwise, that involve AI. And what I'm hoping is that one of the side effects of all my expertise, both for you guys and for myself, was that those will be opportunities for which our skill set may make us more valuable. Whether it's true or not is irrelevant, because I'm going to still keep doing what I'm doing. Finally, this is sort of last but not least, but I'm going to bring this up just because it was asked of me. Sorry, I'm going to go back to the stage. One of the last things, I use this Fluent community board. Let's see where it's community board. Many of the components that are still essential to what I do are from the WP Managed Ninja team, right? WooCommerce or Fluent Cart. I switched to in WP Launchify, by the way, using Fluent affiliate. So if you were at WPLaunchify.com affiliates, you can sign up to profit from $20, $40, $97 a month from selling what we offer, right? So this is Fluent affiliate now. Dumped that dog affiliate WP, which had become a bloated mess. This is way faster, lighter, better in any event. But what I was going to say is, when you go to the boards here, and this is how I started in WordPress, you can see people talking about all of the things that are wrong. I mean, it's pretty insane, but everything from, how to do stuff to what's wrong. And even when Shah Jahan, who does a great job running the team, introduces something new, like I think Fluent Affiliate had an announcement, you're going to see just endless people whining. And I don't mean whining like they're not right. I mean, like this guy, Darren, the less I say about this update, the better. It's just that everybody's got a complaint. Okay, why is this relevant to me? Because I already have this deep stack of stuff that works with all of their software, and the dudes can already fix and build all of the things that are very difficult to do manually. It's not going to fix everything, but I'm saying if you took all of the purposes that the Fluent CRM, the Fluent Cart, the Fluent Affiliate, the Fluent boards, etc., do, the dudes inside of the minute launch setup, especially with the asynchronous stuff, would be able to essentially work with all of those things easily. In fact, that's the core basis for how most of this stuff works, is that they fortunately publish an amazing API over at WP Manage Ninja for all of their products. And that's what's made it possible for me to, for example, have the dude or the asynchronous dudes be able to create functional HTML5 forms that work directly with the Fluent CRM and bypass the need to do Fluent forms. Or the dudes are able to create beautiful HTML5 blog posts or posts inside a Fluent community when that's not even possible. To do further complicated automations and triggers and benchmarks without having to use necessarily the pro functions or having to set up managers. All of those things are ways that I feel like we're going to extend the capability we already have, but into what I like to call outcomes. It's not important to me to talk about the tools anymore. Instead, when I talk to people, I'm like, what is it you're trying to do? You want to create an email? You want to make an image? Oh, you're looking for some icons to use for your images? You want to make a sales page? Like, in other words, people want to do stuff similar to how when you go to the restaurant, you want to order a meal. You don't want to go grocery shopping for the ingredients or the tools to make it. You want the meal. And things like creating automations or a site or a sales page, these are very common amongst businesses. And I think that's ultimately what we're talking about, is that we're getting every day closer and closer, but at the same time making it easier and easier for you to go to your group of people, your audience, and say, I've already got a tool that we can use for everything we want to do here. And all you guys have to do is sign up for it at Minute Launch. By the way, use my affiliate link from WP Launchify to buy it. But the point is that everything else that needs to be done can be built either by the dudes in the site themselves or will be built, for example, by Spence upon request. Okay, that's it for now, other than I want to see something. If I go actually to what I built here, this I'm going to update in a second, but I wanted to see something. If I go to my logs, I also added this capability here where every single thing that one does is logged. So if I were to type later on, like Spencer Foreman, I could find all of the things that were built and the projects that were done and the tasks that did it. And I go back and revisit them and have it continue on from here, right? So I'd like the style of this to look like minutelaunch.com. That's a black background. It's got bold white letters, orange highlights, strong font like a Montserrat. Can you implement that, please, and give me back the new version? If I can do stuff like this, where essentially just give it instructions, go away, and you can see here that it's doing the task. I can set up 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things, do all my client work, go for a walk, have lunch, take a nap, come back, and it will be working on it. And the neat thing is they're all going to be saved inside of projects. So when I later want to come back, I can also search by project types, by name, by probably client if I want to add that. I haven't done that yet. And all of the work product is also stored inside of its own directory. So this is work product that's ready for you to use elsewhere or migrate and so on and so forth. All right, that's enough. I will see you guys on the next update tomorrow. Bye.